Hi, my name is Fifi and welcome to my channel, all things motherhood and all things natural hair styling. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on the link. And one more thing, right? If you enjoy the content that you view within this 20 minutes or over the course that you are watching this channel, hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you can be alerted every time I post a new video. I try my best to be consistent each and every week, but I'm a twin mom, like, cut me some slack. And if you've been here before, welcome back, and thank you so much for continuing to be a part of this family, of this community. If anything is helpful that you find in this video, please do share it via your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, Mailman, whatever social media that you are using, TikTok as well. Please be sure to share this content so that the community can grow and so that we can all find each other as like-minded mommies and build a wonderful community of, dependable, strong women who get things done. So today I thought I would film a video about how to best support a breastfeeding mom. This week is World Breastfeeding Week. There was a video that I did record on my breastfeeding journey about a year ago. I will link it up above as well as down in the description box for you to watch after this, or you may want to open another tab and watch it before you come to this one. But just in the spirit of celebrating World Breastfeeding Week, I thought it would be important to talk to, or rather try and help those who support us through our journey. I'm talking about partners, I'm talking about moms, family members, I'm talking about sisters, brothers, siblings, as well as friends, on how it is that you can support a breastfeeding mom. One of the first things I think that is very important is during her pregnancy, have that conversation with her and find out her preferences. Find out what her bigger picture is, what her plan is, how she's deciding on how to care for her twins or how to care for her triplets, her quads, her octuplets, or even just her single baby, her little singleton. I think it's important to have those conversations during pregnancy and not around the time where she is preparing to go and give birth. It can be a very frustrating thing to experience that people are chipping in with their various opinions, way after. It's important to have those conversations, leading up to the birth of the children or the child, in order to find out how you will be preparing her and how you will be preparing yourself in order to have a successful breastfeeding journey. So that's my tip number one. Tip number two should be obvious, but you need to help out with other tasks, right? To lighten her load. I'm talking about the cooking, I'm talking about the laundry, the washing of dishes, any other household activities that need to be done, or that your partner or that mommy, the mommy to be, would typically be holding down in the household. Try and alleviate some of that pressure from her by helping out with that household work. And before you are actually told, get into the rhythm of it. Find out what specific washing powder that she wants to use for the babies, what washing powder she uses for your laundry, and get to work on that. Familiarize yourself with the household settings, the duties that she typically would undertake in an ordinary week. Find out what those things are and see what are the smart and creative ways that you can also now start chipping in and handling and taking over that burden or that load, because her time once the babies come as a breastfeeding mom will be primarily based on the babies. So you want to make sure that you are playing your role in other aspects. Here's an important one. You want to make her space comfortable, her breastfeeding stations, whether it's in the bedroom, whether it is on the couch, whether it is in the baby's nursery. Ensure that it is always stocked up with her favorite snack, with a bottle of water, that it's a comfortable, cozy space, that the temperature is just right, it's warm enough, it's cool enough, that she has her favorite little blankie to put over herself as well as the baby, that there's some chapstick if her lips get dry. You want to make sure that she has all of those creature comforts, because once you sit down to breastfeed a baby, you might be down for about 50 minutes. That's what I found with the twins, right? That I would have to be especially in those very early weeks, that I would have to be, positioned on the couch, comfy, pillow behind me, a pillow for each baby, pillow to support my elbow, and just be as relaxed as possible so that the milk can flow. Ensure that her space is super duper comfy, her favorite pair of slippers, and have these conversations. Perhaps she'll know a little bit better what, she appreciates having in that space. And once you see the things that she commonly relies on, calls for, the TV remote, a protein bar while she's sitting down and breastfeeding the baby, just ensure and be proactive and ensure that those things are there for her. Within the early stages of the breastfeeding journey, I found that it was easier to stick to a routine, especially with the twins. So before we found our, 2-hourly pattern, we were just kind of all over the place, going according to what they needed and how they were adjusting to, the real world, being out in the real world, their sleeping habits and all of that. I found that it was easier just to have that routine set in place. And then once I noticed that there was a pattern, every 2 hours, we wake up, we change, we feed, we cuddle, we burp, and they fall back asleep, they sleep, and so on and so forth, right? I found it easier to sort of minimize on fanfare around the baby. So ensure that there's not someone coming through the door every hour. It can be very uncomfortable and unsettling. She's already highly irritable, probably hormonal, tired, her nipples are sore, they're cracked, they're bleeding, just absolutely going through the most as a first-time mom. So you want to ensure that your friends, family members, as well as your partner understand that they cannot be there every moment, every minute of the day. Colleagues may want to swing by and come and see you and see the babies, but you just want to minimize on how many people that it is, coming through your household, and at the times that they are visiting, ensure that they are suitable for you, your family, as well as your babies. It's also a health thing. I think with the pandemic, it has made us realize, just how sensitive we are to each other's little sniffles and coughs and this and touching, common touch areas and all of that, and how easy it can be to pick up a viral infection, a cold, a flu, things of that nature. So ensure that you are just minimizing. Absolutely, everyone is excited that the babies are here, but you want to minimize on how often it is that they come through. Excuse me. So I wrote down something that I found on thebump.com while doing my research. Very, very important, right? So they recommend that one of the best ways that you can support a breastfeeding mom is to learn your baby's hunger cues. And I kid you not, this is something that ultimately saved my mental health, saved my energy, as well as my relationship with my partner. So he then understood and learned that during the night, right, let her sleep until it is absolutely necessary to go and wake her up and bring the babies to her so that she can breastfeed. So he got into the habit of learning the baby's hunger cues, knowing exactly what it was, what kind of a cry, what's going on, are you able to soothe them back to sleep? And then if he found that he was unable to, then it definitely means that the babies are hungry, and let's go wake up mom so she can, breastfeed the babies. Very important. Whoever your caregiver will be, or whoever is in your support network, needs to understand that. Read up on it. There is so much information available online, that is from conception all the way through to being a teenager. So much research has been done into child rearing and child behaviors and infant behaviors that it's always good to read up and familiarize yourself with what could be happening, in your presence. The signals may be there, but you may not understand how to interpret them and how to read them. So learning hunger cues definitely helped. He would only wake me up in the middle of the night when he realized that, yeah, the babies are definitely hungry. You need to get to breastfeeding. The second thing that they mentioned on thebump.com that I absolutely had to add to this video is don't assume that she wants to be left alone. Breastfeeding can be a very grueling, tough, difficult, challenging, all of the words, right? All of the synonyms that you can think of. It can be a very challenging time. So to be alone while your baby is fussing at the breast, so shaking his head around and not latching and crying, or latching, sucking a little bit, then detaching and perhaps not even getting the latch correct at the first time, can be very frustrating. So it's always good to have like a breastfeeding buddy, someone who's there to keep the conversation going. At times it feels very lonely. You are dealing with these two beautiful babies, or this baby of yours, but they aren't able to have adult conversation. One of the things that I struggled with was getting lost in the goo gaga of it all, to the point where I felt, my goodness, I'm just like eat, sleep, praying, breathing babies. But it's important to have someone there just to have a gentle chat, just to keep the encouragement going, very kind words, light a candle, do whatever it is that she, enjoys in her comfortable space in order to make the breastfeeding journey and the breastfeeding session successful. So don't assume that she always wants to be alone when breastfeeding the babies. Also, don't assume that she always wants to have a crowd of people around her. I mentioned earlier that it is super important to give support, give encouragement, give love, right? Use that as a point for you to read up on more information. So find out a little bit more, whatever it is that you can, about breastfeeding, some cool facts, some cool gadgets, some things, that can use and alleviate some of the pressure that she may be experiencing while breastfeeding or pumping for her babies. Ensure that you are a good support system. Encourage her even when the going gets tough, even when the baby is acting up and being very fussy. Ensure that you are trying your best to show that level of commitment and support, because what she's enduring now is a feat that is not one to just brush under the carpet. It is massive. Her body is producing life-giving milk. It is sustaining the nutrition of a newborn baby, of, a baby that's a couple of months older. It's really miraculous what it is that a woman's body is able to do. And share that information. Another tip is perhaps for my moms, right? Moms of moms. Each generation has a way of doing and attacking various challenges. So you want to understand that motherhood evolves, that perhaps a method or a way in which worked 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago may not be what is best practice for a breastfeeding mom in 2022. And give that level of support in order for her to feel comfortable enough to do things her own way. I'm a Google mom. I've often said this on my channel, and certain things that my grandmothers suggested, I just did not feel comfortable, or I did not want to do them. And I set out to find my own way, to determine my own path in this motherhood journey. Of course, there's great wisdom in what they had to share, but with that, I took modern information and flipped it and turned it into something that worked for me and my current situation in this day and age. Something that is also great to do when you have friends and family members over. I've noticed that it's quite an organic thing, or rather, let me say for my sisters, when my sisters are over, it's quite an organic thing to handle the cooking, the cleaning, the whatever, because they understand how important it is for, a new mom to get enough rest in order for her body to produce enough milk. It's important for her to eat a good, nutritious, hearty meal in order to have those nutrients flowing through her and ultimately into her breast milk and into her baby. So have your family members, have your friends, have your partner understand that there are other elements that they can help you with. So he, the twins' dad, he always used to say that he wished he had a set of breasts to also alleviate me from the pressures of breastfeeding so that he could assist, right? He's like, look at these useless nipples. I wish that, a man's nipples and breast structure was able to do this miraculous feat of creating breast milk. But I had to, and he got to understand that there are other elements that he could take care of, right? So once the babies were now 3 months old, we introduced bottles and all of that. I also had to go back to work, and that's where my journey with being a pumping mom sort of took off. So he understood that there were other elements that he could assist with, cleaning and washing the bottles, burping the babies after. So I'd take them off the breast and he would take and pat, pat, pat and burp one and do the nappy changes and swaddle them up and do the cuddles and loving while I was busy with the other, and I could hand that baby over to him. Have that level of understanding, and it may not be easy initially. Hence this video on how, it is that our family members can find other ways to support a breastfeeding mom. So that's one of the ways. Alleviate some of the breastfeeding duties, the ones that are sort of secondary that come off. Ensure that her nipple cream is, right there by the water bottle so that her nipples aren't cracked. Ensure that her water bottle is there, fully stocked up with cold, warm, tap water, whatever temperature it is that she drinks. Just ensure that all of those elements are there and provided for. It is such a beautiful and miraculous journey. When you do have the right kind of people around you, it's something so fulfilling, and when you have like-minded individuals as well. Another thing I wanted to add that's very important to this video is watch your mouth, all right? Watch your mouth. And what do I mean by that? I mean, be careful of what it is that you say around a breastfeeding mom. It's a very sensitive time. Perhaps she may even be having doubts and not believing that she can do it. So people who are quick to want to force people to introduce formula. Formula-fed babies, absolutely nothing wrong with it. But, as the saying goes, studies have shown us that breast is best. When you are able to breastfeed, I think try it, give it a good shot. For your baby's health. Of course, healthcare practitioners still advocate for breastfeeding. I believe at the hospital where I gave birth to the twins, in fact, they have a policy in the maternity ward. Unless the doctor has written a script for formula for your child or has left a special note, you may not be able to breastfeed for various reasons. They will insist on you breastfeeding your child. They will help you latch. There are lactation consultants that come around, check if everything is okay, and then you can take on their services should you wish. But they were a huge support structure in ensuring that my start to breastfeeding was a good one. So I really, really tip my hats to the doctors and nurses who help young moms, first-time moms, understand what's going on, help them position. Even with the twins, I thought the nurses at the hospital were going to scream my head off because I really wanted to try tandem feeding, which is having both babies positioned and you breastfeed at the same time. I thought they would try and force me to go one after the other, but I promise you, the first position, no more than 30 minutes after being sutured up after the C-section, they came in and they were like, all right, ma'am, here's a pillow here, here's a pillow here. We're going to put a baby here. We're putting another one here, and let's get it popping. Let's get cracking. So it's important to have people who are, be careful of what you say, right? So don't push the formula agenda if it is something that makes her uncomfortable, especially if you have not done point number one. If you did not have the discussion during her pregnancy of what it is she would like to do, how it is that she sees this journey, this motherhood journey going for her. Don't dishearten her when the milk is not flowing as easily as it should, as easily as it did for Refilun, Tabising, Lebohang, and whoever. Don't dishearten her. I think find the solutions. Try and be that support, right? Through information, through food, through nutrition, through more water, through mommy teas, to support her on her journey. This is the decision that she has made. It's also important not to judge. Comparison is the thief of joy. That's the saying, right? So when you compare and say, oh, but Mang's baby grew up on formula and look at how they're doing and whatever. Really not a nice, thing to say. So you want people who will watch their mouths, and if they're not watching their mouths, mommy, this is me giving you full freedom to correct that and call that behavior into order. And last but not least, of course, the baby is priority number one. If your baby is struggling, best believe the nurses and the doctors will let you know. That's from the first few days that you are in hospital. That is when you go for, the 6-week checkup, and all of the checkups following that. Your doctor will let you know if perhaps your breast milk isn't enough or you aren't breastfeeding enough. And there are various ways to increase that supply. I will link the video that in which I recorded. I spoke about how to boost your milk supply, and I successfully managed to breastfeed my twins up until 9 months. There's also one on why I quit breastfeeding at 9 months. But thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. And remember, if there's anything hugely challenging about your breastfeeding journey, always consult a professional. I'm just a mom on the internet providing a few tips based on experience and common shared, interests and stories with moms around me on breastfeeding journeys and all of that. But if you have some legitimate concerns, or even the small concerns, call your doctor. Call a lactation consultant. Of course, we want babies to be growing very well, meeting their marks on the chart, gaining weight, being happy and healthy, and breastfeeding is one of those ways that we can achieve that. But if you truly, truly are struggling, have a chat with your doctor, have a chat with an approved medical professional, and ensure that your baby is getting the absolute best out of you, and that you are also doing the best for yourself and your family. The name's Matela. We've reached the end of this video. To all the moms out there, expecting moms, new moms, have yourself a happy, safe pregnancy. Remember, you are a priority in all of this as well. I hope that you give birth to a lovely bundle of joy. I hope that, you really can immerse yourself in this time. Will it be challenging? Yes. But I promise, pinky promise, you will make it to the other side. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to share this video with your community, your support structure, a new mom, a mom to be, and let's all grow together with the knowledge that is available to us. Hit the subscription button below, as well as the notification bell. You can follow me on social media at Fifi_CM on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and all that good vibes. Bye.